What's up, tribe? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Queen Sugar Season 4, Episode 9. Now, let me tell you something. This episode was a little flat for me. A lot went on, don't get me wrong. Some important things went down, but I don't know. It was just a little flat. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Was it a little flat for y'all? But let's jump into it. Nova goes to reconnect with her cousin, aunt, the relative she didn't know she had. Now let me tell y'all something. I get a vibe off of her. She all, healing and herbs and motherland and all of that shit. I didn't mean to say that. All that stuff. Some about her. I don't think she's telling the whole story. She told the story of how their whole family, all the women in the family are healers, and that some embraced it while others didn't. And um she said she chose to embrace it, and when she chose to embrace her gift as a healer, she was banished from the family. She left St. Joe, traveled the world, went to Haiti, went to Africa, worked on her heal, became a better healer, became a student of the art of herbs and things of that nature. And then she came back to St. Joe. She said that's when she reconnected with Nova's mom, and Nova's mom kept her secret because she didn't tell anybody she was back in town. Something I think it's something missing from that story. I don't know what's missing, y'all. But I'm telling y'all, mark my words, something ain't right with this woman. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying her herbs and all that. And she tells Nova stories of her running around as a kid, and how her and her mom were such good friends. And Nova confides in her that her mom is coming to her in her dreams and stuff like that. And then once again, Nova is finding out that what she thought was real wasn't. Her aunt tells her cousin, whoever this woman is, tells her that because Nova always thought that she was an accident and that her mother was forced to marry her father and was unhappy with it, and that Nova was sort of unwanted. And the aunt clears it up and said, no, that's not. No, you got that all wrong. Like, I don't know who's telling you your history, but that is not how it went down. You were unexpected, but you were not an accident. Your mother understood that everything happened to her for a reason, and she embraced it. Her relationship with Ernest, having you, Ralph Angel, like, no, that's I don't know where you getting that from. The other thing she finds out that isn't true is she thought her mother had been cremated, and the woman was like, no, she not. She buried on y'all property, like she right there. You can go visit her because she was saying something about going to visit her mom, and Nova was like, I can't. She's gone. She's been cremated. So I don't know why. I don't know who told her these stories, and I don't know why she was led to believe that her mother was cremated versus being buried. Like, I don't see what the significance of lying about something like that is. But once again, Nova is realizing that she didn't have all the answers that she thought she had. That she didn't know as much as she thought she knew. And you're starting to see that she's embracing, like, damn, I might have messed this up. Ralph Angel and Vi have a conversation, and Vi finally starts to open up and confide in him to say, look, part of what I'm trying to deal with is you. I understand why you did what you did, but it scared the hell out of me. When you beat up Jimmy Dale, I saw a different side of you, like something in your face changed. And Hollywood got it. He was like, I scared you. She was like, yeah. He said, well, what is it that I can do to fix this? And she said, I don't know. This is me. I gotta fix this. Like, it ain't on you, it's on me. But that is part of what I've been processing, and that's where my distance has come towards you. So they're trying to figure that out. So then we get down to the diner, and Mr. Prosper said, look, things have been real crazy around here, but I got an idea. We're gonna fix it. I got an idea on how we can get ourselves back, get our energy back. And maybe the energy of this episode was supposed to be low. Maybe it was supposed to be flat because they are at rock bottom. As a community, as a family, this is pretty much rock bottom. And so maybe and if that's the case, then bravo to the director and everybody, because that is exactly what we got out. At least I got from this episode. But Prosper's still hanging out with his bae, and they got some under wraps. Prosper told Vi, "Don't you worry about what I got going on. You just be where I tell you to be when I tell you to be there, baby." Micah and Kiki. I ain't about to get deep into this. Kiki ready to do the do. Micah's not sure about doing the do. And it's coming off that he's being a nice, sweet boyfriend, but for real, he's worried about making that step with Kiki, knowing that next year everything could change. They could go off to college, things could change. And it was a really, really great scene between him and Ralph Angel because remember, he doesn't, other than Hollywood, he don't really have a man he can go to. He ain't going to his daddy. And so he sits down with Ralph Angel and he was like, can I ask you something? Ralph Angel said, anytime, anytime as much as you want. Like, what's up? And he talks to Ralph Angel about him and Kiki being ready to make that next step, but him not being sure, him being worried about what the ramifications could be on the other side. And Ralph Angel told him point blank, he said, look, you can't worry about the future. If you and Kiki love each other and that's what you want to do, you need to live in the moment. Like you worrying too much about factors that you can't control. Yes, things are going to change next year, but it doesn't mean it has to be a bad thing right now of what it is you're trying to do. So they had a good conversation, and it was great to see that Micah felt comfortable enough to talk to Ralph Angel. And I appreciate that Ralph Angel was real with him. I mean, Ralph Angel didn't give him the, oh no, you better wait till you're married. Like it is what it is. They're teenagers, they've made up their mind. The only thing I didn't hear was him telling her to be safe, but I'm sure that they had that part of the conversation too. Um, but it was great to see. It was really great to see. So poor Charlie, y'all. Charlie down in New Orleans, drunk off her ass. She is at the bar. The bartender is telling her, ma'am, I think you've had enough. Let me pour you some coffee. He said, whatever's going on with you, but I think you've had enough. And Charlie gets to telling him how bad her life is and said, and on top of all of that, I'm running for office. He was like, you running for office here in New Orleans? She said no, somewhere else. But he said, well, ma'am, the later it gets, the more people gonna show up. And the last thing you need is to be seen drunk and stumbling and you running for office. Once again, I think you've had enough. Charlie tells him, pour her another one. She puts on her shades like, this is gonna take care of it. Won't nobody recognize me and gonna pour me another drink. She calls Micah. You can tell that she barely holding it together, trying. You know how when you're drunk, but you're trying to have a conversation because you don't want people to know how drunk you really are, so you're trying to get it together, but you still slurring and your voice. That was that phone call. She was trying to talk to Micah and sound very motherly. She done told Micah to meet her down to the mill, like she in town. She in New Orleans. She ain't nowhere near that mill. Well, down to the mill office. Um, and Micah could tell something was a little off, but of course, I'm sure he was like, all right, mama going through a lot. She tripping. It is what it is. Hollywood and Ralph Angel have a moment, and again, it's a real flat moment. We find out later it was supposed to be flat because Hollywood is just feeling like he doesn't have the words for people right now. Like he's just not, he's just not in a good place after having that conversation with Vi and sort of seeing things from Vi's point of view. Um, he talks to Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel said that they put a hold on his program until further notice. He don't have a lot of work in the fields, and he just know that he still got to get the rest of the fields done pretty much with a skeleton crew. Um, and Hollywood was like, man, I feel what you're saying. He said, look, the guys are coming over tonight. We're gonna have some drinks. We're gonna talk some talk. Why don't you come through with us? Ralph Angel was like, I'm good. I already got started. He got his beer. He like, I done already got started. Yeah, I'm good. I just need to process this thing. Now, I think I missed. Did it already happen or did I miss it? Anyway, I'm going to talk about it. Darla is bringing Blue to the house, and Blue was talking about setting up a play date with Joie. And he's like, Dad, did you call Joie's mom yet to set up the play date? Ralph Angel talking about something. Nah, I've been busy. Y'all been getting busy. So Blue lets it slip. Well, he didn't let it slip because he didn't know it was a secret. But Blue lets it slip that Joie's mom is Deja. Got her name. So Darla is pissed. Darla is like, wait a minute. So this little girl that Blue can't stop talking about, that that his best friend now, and he can't wait to set up a date, a play date with you. You ain't tell me that's the woman you're dating. Ralph Angel was like, it is not that big of a deal, Darla. It's a big deal to me. She knew who I was, but I didn't know who she was. See, that's a woman thing. You put me in a situation where somebody know more about me than I know about them. I got a problem with it. And I understood where she was kind of coming from with that. Like Ralph Angel could have said that they would, but My thing was you walked up on them. You couldn't tell that they was you couldn't tell there was something there. But oh, the problem is she didn't know it was Joa's mom. I could see her having an issue with that. I definitely could see her having an issue with that. Hollywood hanging out with the fellas now. The fellas are doing what the fellas are doing. They like, yeah, word around town is Jimmy Dale done came through here and you showed him where the door was. You took care of that. And you could see that Hollywood was uncomfortable with the accolades because again, after Aunt Vi explained to him how that made her feel. Now, had they not had that conversation, he'd have been like, "Yeah, I told that, I took care of that. That's my woman. You ain't gonna put your hands on my woman." But that's where the guys were coming from. They were like, "Man, you did what you were supposed to do. You was protecting your woman. That's what you supposed to do." But Hollywood is just really uncomfortable with it. You can just see that he's just like something, it just hit him different after he had that conversation with Vi. It just hit him different. Sorry, y'all. I couldn't get his name out. The son. Micah. Lord, I couldn't get Micah's name out. Micah's worried about his mom. He like, look, well, I don't know where she is. She told me meet her to the down to the mill. She ain't there. They do the Find My Phone app, and they realize that she's down in New Orleans, and they're like, well, what the hell is she doing in New Orleans? So, we going they worried about Miss Charlie. She been MIA for a minute. Dollar goes now. This is a very important scene, and James is y'all. Shout out to James Caldwell. James is going to tear this girl up. I'm gonna feel so bad for Dollar. He is going to tear Dollar's ass up in this. Poor Dollar. Poor Dollar. Now Dollar meets up with the dude she dating. Right? He said, "Look, I read the book." Dollar automatically jumped to the conclusion that he found out she was a hoe and is judging her. He said, "No, no, no. Understand something. I'm not judging you on your past. I could care less about that." He said, "I'm more concerned about your present and your future." He said, "I know what a relapse looks like, and I feel like you are about 2 seconds away from a relapse. And I need you to get some help." And Darla can't hear it. "I'm fine. I don't need it. I'm strong. I'm dealing with it. I'm good." And I don't know why Darla can't say, "Yes, I need help." I don't know what her pride is stopping her from saying, "Yes, I need help." And he said to her, look, she said, "Well, oh, that's why you haven't been returning my text. I mean, you could have at least talked to me and not ghosted me like a child." And he was like, "No, I wasn't ghosting you. I was processing and trying to figure out the next best steps for both of us." He said, "Because I have to protect my sobriety." And so he was like, "Well, when's the last time you called your sponsor?" "I don't know, a couple of weeks." He said, "Look, in the essence, that ain't the right word. For me to protect my sobriety, I'm gonna need to take a step back from our relationship." He was like, "I'll call you in a couple of days, but I just, if you're not gonna get no help, I can't." Because the thing is this, I see you about to relapse. You are 2 seconds from getting high. And I've relapsed a couple. He said, "I've relapsed a couple of times. I know what it looks like, but I can't do that with you." Because he already know you get to drinking and getting high. I'm 2 seconds from drinking and getting high with you. And I already know me. And so he lets her know, look, if you're not gonna get any help, I can't do this with you. And what Darla's not understanding, that it's not about her past. He's really concerned about her getting help. And it's the second time he done told her to get some help. It's the second time he done told her to call somebody and she won't do it. And so, you know, she disappears. Ralph Angel's looking for her. Blue trying to call her to say goodnight. They have a moment, and he starts talking about how wonderful Deja is, and how she brought cupcakes to the school, and how they pretended that they were walking on the moon. He tells her this whole story, and the whole time Darla's listening, but you hear all she heard was Deja. She ain't hear nothing past Deja, and I thought she was already high. I ain't gonna lie. I said she didn't already got high. She done got high and called Blue, but she wasn't. But she was. I'm telling you, she 2 seconds from it, y'all. She 2 seconds from it. Later on, Ralph Angel invites her to meet them down to the mill. We'll get to that in a minute. And she doesn't respond, but we see her later on. She got that bottle in her hand. She's looking at the bottle. Then the next thing you know, she got the bottle in her hand. Then the next thing you know, she done opened up the bottle and she's smelling that liquor. Now, we don't see her actually put no liquor in her mouth, But if she don't pour that liquor down the drain and call her sponsor, she gonna be drunk before morning. And she got some old cheap liquor too, girl. If you gonna break your sobriety, you might as well go on and put a little money on that. Or whatever. Um, we see a scene between Hollywood and Vi. Hollywood is in his head, and Vi's like, "You mad at me or something?" He said, "No, I just got a lot on my mind." And ultimately, what he starts talking about is why aren't there support groups or things for women? I mean, for men. We got all these groups for women where they can get together and talk about their feelings. He said, but when men get together, we talk about sports and we talk about women. We don't really talk about our feelings. And he said there needs to be something for us to express ourselves and talk about our feelings too. And I was like, I don't disagree. So I think Hollywood's going to try to start some sort of support group for the guys or something like that. I don't know, but it's a good idea. Again, we're talking about mental health, and men, black men especially, do not seek the help that they need, and a lot of them are dealing with black men are dealing with so much. So much is on them just being who they are on a daily basis. They really do need a safe space where they can talk about their feelings and not be ostracized or criticized or called names. You soft, you this, you that, man. Nobody talking about their feelings. Nobody gonna cry. Stop crying. So there does need to be a safe space. So hopefully that's something that Hollywood's gonna do and start and create a safe space for the men to sort of just talk about what's going on. All right. And I talked all around this, so let's get to it. Who shows up in New Orleans to take Charlie home? Nova. Charlie looks at her. What are you doing here? She said, Micah sent me. He was worried about you. He told me where you were. I'm coming to take you home. She was like, I'm not going nowhere with you. Now, Charlie drunk. I mean, drunk. Okay. Nova was like, look, I know you still mad at me, but you are running for office. The last thing you need is to be seen, you know, butt ass drunk, stumbling up out of here. Let me take you home. And at that point, I don't think Charlie got any more fight in her. So Charlie lets Nova take her home, and she carrying her out of there. I said, please don't let nobody take no picture of her being carried up out the bar. They get back to Charlie's house. Nova puts on her pajamas. Nova puts her to bed, and Nova tries to, sort of kind of grab her hand, and Charlie pulls away from her. So Nova starts walking off, and Charlie said, "Why did you say those things about me?" And we have a really genuine moment from Nova. Nova says, I thought I was helping. I really did. But now I'm realizing that I was wrong. More and more, I'm realizing that I was wrong. And I shouldn't have said what I said. And the dam breaks. The dam breaks. Charlie breaks down. And Nova climbs in the bed with her and just holds her while Charlie just, I mean, it's all coming out. Whatever Charlie's been holding on to probably for the last 2 years, from since Davidson cheated on her all the way down to the mill burning. Because remember, Charlie has been the strong woman. She's been the backbone, and she's been the one everybody else leans on. So the dam broke, and Charlie had a good old cry, honey. The next morning she wakes up. Nova done left breakfast for her with some tea. And what we see is Nova has written an article in the local paper. And she's basically saying, look, I said some things about my sister in my book, and I was wrong. I love my family. I don't know how I'm going to fix what I did, but please understand that my sister will make the best councilwoman. And she goes on to talk about how wonderful her sister is and how strong her sister is, and how even in the midst of them disagreeing, she is still her sister. And it was a really great article, right? It was a really great article. And you're starting to see Nova on her road to redemption. You see that Nova realizes I screwed this up. And she's on her road to redemption. She's trying. And I don't know if her and Charlie are going to be best friends after that, but it was certainly a good place to start. It was really a good place to start. So Michael runs up to Charlie and says, "Look, Mom, I gotta show you something. Come with me." Charlie ain't a bit more. Charlie's head is probably still throbbing. Okay, she ain't a bit more trying to go nowhere than the man in the moon. But he's like, "Look, Mom, trust me. I need to show you something. Please just trust me." He takes her down to the mill, and of course, Charlie's like, "What are we doing here?" And they have put lights up. They've cleaned a little area. They have the African drums going. They're dancing. The community has come out. Nova is even there, right? They've let Nova come there. And Mr. Prosper says, look, enough is enough, and this is it. He said, we are going to reclaim this land. We're going to reclaim this building, and whatever it is going to be in the future, whatever's left of this mill, we are going to take back we're going to take back what's ours. And his boo starts singing some old good old gospel hymns, and they kind of they were celebrating it. But Prosper was like, we're gonna reclaim this. And so it was a really, really good moment to see the community come together. And that's what Charlie needed. Charlie needed to understand she was not alone and that they had her back and that people really wanted to see her win. So we're gonna see what happens next week, y'all. But that's pretty much what it went down. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.